Hi guys. I wanted to get on here real quick and talk about some of these other things, being I have people on here saying, oh, the burning. Okay, so if you don't believe me about the burning, and I'll set that aside because that's more in depth, and of course they want to get something that they can say, oh, she's making it up or whatever. So we'll discuss some of the other things. Okay, so here in the back, I was told, well, don't use the fireplace because we don't know what's going to come out of it. Well, don't you think you ought to clean the chimney? Okay, number one, it doesn't take much. Have somebody clean the chimney, put something over top of it so animals and debris and different things go in there. Clean it up and put something over it so you're not breathing in whatever's in there. Number two, the windows. All of them are bad. These windows are 30 years old, okay? So you go to lift them up, they crash in your face. God forbid if you have children in here, right away you lose your security. Windows aren't cheap, okay? But this is the thing. Anybody can buy property. It takes effort and determination to maintain it. So these people, for the most part, have made, steady money on these rentals. They had a steady supply of students, young professionals, people like me, moving forward with their careers, starting out, and even, single professionals that are divorced, going through transition, usually people in that category looking for affordable housing. Then you take the stove, doesn't work properly, it's leaking gas, I've complained. So my hair is falling out again, which happens when a slow gas leak. I've experienced this before because the appliances aren't being maintained. There's a stove in there that was used for residential cake baking at one place that I rented. So you wake up in the middle of the night, and after you've used the stove, you're inundated with chemicals pouring into the apartment. The radiators right now are pouring heat. I don't have a thermostat, which is one of the main things I want to discuss in this video. Each unit should have a standalone unit. Okay, it's your price. It's your account with National Grid, and you control the. I can't turn off the heat in here. Last night, it's like an oven in here. Okay, so I've been told, well, it's on a timer. Well, the timer don't work. The furnace don't work. These older places, they need to be upgraded. These furnaces don't work. Oftentimes, apartments were divided into 2 studios, so heat was included. Well, there was a time when there wasn't a problem with that. A lot of these places, the furnace is not working properly. There are problems. You're not in control of your heat. And of course, it is nice to have heat included, but not if you're going to pay for heat you didn't receive, if you're going to pay for utilities that you didn't get. They're not expensive. A standalone unit is about $1,000, which isn't bad. You do each rental, maybe you have 4 or 5 rentals, you're talking an investment of $4,000 to $5,000, which isn't bad. Then people aren't, being scammed. You're having a good relationship with National Grid. You're maintaining your property. The problem is these people aren't maintaining their property. They've been making good rental income for a long time, and now maybe it's time to tighten your belt, invest in your property, which you should have been doing all along, and these people haven't been. So now they find themselves, well, the economy is changing. We're in transition, housing, different things intersecting, and, their answer to it is to scam people in vulnerable situations. And this is what often happens in these situations because, if you're not in that kind of situation, of course, you would have time to look at some of the better apartments, really scrutinize things like locks. When you get in here, all of a sudden the lock doesn't work. And what I'd really like to talk about is how when you're a woman alone and you have maintenance people in and out of these places doing maintenance. When you move into a place, things should be ready for you when you move in. I spent a month painting, repairing, doing anything before the next tenant come in, which was rare because I liked tenants that were going to stay. I appreciated and gave them extra things and did not raise the rent and do scams and all this other nefarious stuff because it was good to have renters that were going to stay and take care of the place and wanted to be there for a while. So as a woman alone, having maintenance people in and out of my place for nonsense is very, very uncomfortable. It's frightening. It's dangerous. These people will bully about things that should be automatically done when you move in. Things like a smoke alarm, things like the heating situation, things like your stove, the cooling, the windows, just different things that you're moving into a place with the potential to be a home. There's an apartment building in Albany. The people were protesting because the conditions are appalling what these people are being forced to live with. And this is across the board with housing. I mean, now if you want to expend inordinate amounts of money to rent, it's ridiculous, because unless you're in that category, maybe you're a business professional, maybe you're just getting to work, you would buy a home. It's, you're talking $1,500 is a mortgage, which is why I paid off my properties and thought at this point in my life, I would have safe, secure housing that I would own, and I would just basically be paying the taxes, which at this point would be $500 or $600. Very economical. I would have rental income, which at this point, my places would be upwards of $1,500, and I would be okay. So you're struggling to maintain yourself in a place like this that is increasingly dangerous, uncomfortable. They don't want to show you ID. Well, it's a friend of a friend. But who has maintenance people on the premises all the time and things aren't being done? Things need to be done before the tenant moves in. And we'll discuss more of that as we go along. And I will bring my lived experience to the table as far as being a landlord for 20 years and seeing the shocking way. And I know landlords do have issues on the other side, because you do get people that just don't care after a while. And I've seen this